Chapter 7, Section 2 goes along with the various ways to compute trade discounts. So looking at problem number 2, they're giving you the list price, the trade discount rate, and they're asking you to find the trade discount. So this is a simple multiplication problem. So we're going to take the 125.50, going to convert the percent to a decimal, 0.12, and multiply it through. So it's pretty straightforward. They're just multiplying 0.12 times 125.50, and you're going to get 1506. Just calculator, pretty much straightforward. Same thing for the next problem, number 4. Just multiplying through. We're going to convert the percent to a decimal. So remember, we drop it down, move it over 2, so this becomes 0.08. We're going to multiply it by $499. And when we put it in our calculator, then we get $39.92. So pretty straightforward, just simply changing it to a decimal, multiplying it through to get the discount. Next set of problems, they're asking us to compute the trade discount and the net price, so it's 2 steps. So the first step is exactly what we did before. So in problem 6, which they give you in the book, they change this to a decimal, they multiplied by 286, and then they got the 71.50, and then they subtracted that, the discount, from the list price to get the 124.50. Okay, so once you get the discount, you subtract it from the list to get the net. Okay, so in problem 8, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So we have 21.29, we're going to multiply, changing it to a decimal, 0.18. We're going to plug it into our calculator. We're going to get $3.83, and then we're going to subtract that in order to get the net price. So when we subtract 383 from 21.29, we get 17.46. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Just multiplying through, getting the discount, and then subtracting the discount from the list price to get our net price. Okay. As we continue down the page, they're adding different aspects of this. So here, number 10, they've given you the list price, the discount rate of 37%, and the net price factor. And they get that by subtracting the rate from 100%. So if you have 100%, which is the item, you subtract the rate of 37, you would then, of course, get the 63. And that's how they're going to get that for each one. So you can do it 2 ways. You can multiply just like what we did in the previous problem to get your discount, and you could subtract that from the list price to get the net price. Or you can subtract the trade discount rate, get your net price factor, and then multiply the 63.63 times the list price to get this. It's the same answer. Either way you could do it. You're going to have to subtract and multiply, or multiply and subtract. Here you're going to multiply and subtract your discount like we did above to get the net price. Here you're going to subtract, get the net price factor, and then multiply by the list to get the net price. It's the same answer, 2 different ways to get there. So in problem 12, we'll demonstrate that. We subtract 45.8 from 100. Then we would get, 54.2% is the net price factor. Okay, so we could either multiply the 45.8, get our answer, and subtract it, or since we've already subtracted, since they asked for that, we then would multiply the 1,244.25 times 0.42, because we move it over to a pure decimal, right? Okay, and then we would get 674.38 when we plug it into our calculator. So either way to do that, it does not matter. Okay, change colors here a little bit. Okay, as we continue down, they're asking you to calculate the trade discount and discount rates. Round your answer up. Okay, well, they've given you a sample problem where they filled in all the information. They have a list price, a discount, they've given you the rate, and the net price. Well, how do they get this? Because that's what they're asking in the next problem. Well, they've got that by subtracting the discount rate from the list price to give you the net price. So, in order to get a rate, you have to have a part, which is the discount, over the whole, which is the list price. So you're looking at your standard proportion, right? That you're looking for a rate. Remember, the formula for that is rate is going to be your portion over your base. And I call it the part over the whole. Okay, so here's your part is your discount, your whole was the list price. Okay, and then you just simply divide. So 935 divided by the 4,500 is going to give you that 20.8. And of course it's going to be a percent. So let's take a look at number 16. So they gave you the net price. Okay, so that's going to be the part, but you need to get the discount. So how do we get that? Well, we subtract the net price from your list price, and you would get 74 cents. Okay, so that's going to be your part. So then our setup then is going to be 74 over 289 as our to get our rate, right? Part over the whole. So we're going to simply divide that out. So it's 74 cents, right? And as we subtract that, we're going to have, or excuse me, as we divide that, 25.6%. Okay? So you have to get your discount by subtracting the net price from your list price. So you get your discount, the difference. And then you take your difference over your starting, your list price. And then it's just a division problem to get your trade discount. Okay, let's look at one story problem, because there are a couple of story problems there on the assignment. It says, find the amount of the trade discount of 55% on a set of fine china that lists for $445.70. So they're just asking for the discount. So it would be $345.70 times, right? We have to convert that to a decimal, 0.55, and we just multiply. It's just multiply through on a calculator. So when we do that, we have 190.14. Okay? So again, the story problems are pretty straightforward. It's just going over exactly what we looked at here in this section. So I think it'll be pretty straightforward. Just go slow and easy. The examples in the book are well done. So take a look at those and then go through the problems and have fun.